Here we go. We're off again. OddCast. Is this number 4? I think it is.
This is number 4. This is number 4. That may be significant.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm going to let people guess what we're going to talk about today.
Okay. What are we going to talk about, Colin?
We are going to talk about that Europol report that has come out. Quite disturbing, really, because it is about organised crime networks and the impact they have and what they're doing in relation to property. So apparently 40% of organised crime networks launder money through property. Does that surprise you, Colin?
It does, because I think it's probably an underestimate.
Right. Okay. And is that on experience?
I think on experience it is. I have an anecdote on this, which is an infamous, or is it famous, offshore trust and company service provider was challenged by the police about the credibility and the possibility that his client's funds were the proceeds of crime. And he said, well, I don't know why you're investigating my client for being a drug dealer. He owns property, as if that meant him, that made him somehow immune to the proceeds of crime temptation. And your reaction was lovely, Colin. It was lovely. Could you do it again?
with a bit more emotion that time. I mean, it's frightening. It really is. I mean, I've not read the full report. I've read the webpage from the Solicitors Regulation Authority, which drew my attention to this. And it talks about organised crime networks being agile, borderless, controlling and destructive. So 50% are involved in drug trafficking from obviously the intelligence. 68% use violence and intimidation to sort of to manage their networks, and they are using the money's been sort of moved through property. And why wouldn't they, really? Because we often focus on the banks and corporate service providers, call them what you will. Are we missing a trick with estate agents?
I think we are, and I think we're missing that trick in 2 different ways.
Right.
If a bank is relying upon an estate agency to be conducting their business and all they're doing is earning commission based on a sale, is the bank not worrying about the lack of client due diligence appreciation in the estate agency employees? And then there's the topic of conveyancing. Are conveyancers worried enough about client due diligence? If they're not, maybe they should be, because maybe there's a train of responsibility coming down the tracks, which brings us back to one of our loves, isn't it? That combination of that rare combination, that threesome of fraud, crime investigation, and client due diligence training. If we can just marry those 3 together, then we get a better awareness amongst people who currently are potentially being taken advantage of by those organised crime groups.
Well, I have never been instructed by any estate agency for CDD. The one thing I would also say is some years ago, I sold a property. I walked into an estate agent's and I was asked to fill out a form, as you do. And one of the questions was, are you a politically exposed person, a PEP? Yes or no?
You told the truth, didn't you, Colin?
Of course. I had to question, do I know any politicians? But if that's, and I know full well, I suspect, I can't say I know, I suspect that my response was never checked. It was a sort of tick box response, basically. And
did they know anything about you? Did they know you were a credible published author, ex-detective superintendent? Did they know that?
I don't think
or
they
did that not matter in the least?
No, I think this is the problem. It seems to be the case that preparing a form, and I've seen this in different. I saw this a lot in the police. You prepare a form, people fill it in. That's compliance. Well,
And can I stop you there? Fill in that form, tick all the boxes, sign it, date it. But if you haven't thought about what the information on the form is telling you, the form's useless. The form is worthless. The form is, I don't know.
Means nothing.
There are too many footballers for me to name who I currently aren't impressed with.
No.
Colin, there's a breaking news story on the BBC. It's about a man called, and I'm looking at my screen here, called Vincent Coggins.
Okay.
And his organised crime group in Liverpool has been broken because the French intelligence services have broken encryption. Now, I think that's magnificent because I genuinely want there to be fewer hiding places for the proceeds of crime. Now, that helps. But what also helps is if businesses take seriously the responsibility to enhance the appreciation of the possibility of clients being criminal in their firm, be it an estate agency, a one-man estate agency, a national network, an international network, be it a conveyancer or a conveyancing network. It has to be taken seriously. And I'm getting serious, Colin, but I need to stop for a moment. Because there is a rumor that the fan, and I've heard it's fans, wanted the joke at the end.
Yes, this is true.
So I've got two, and which one we include in the edit depends on your reaction. So I've written a book. It's How to Make Compliance Work, but it's not a fantasy novel.
That's a joke.
Yeah, we won't use that one. Now, the other one, and there is a fan who's been desperately waiting for this, is man walks into a shop and says, I'd like 4 candles. What does the shopkeeper say?
Oh, go on. It's too early.
Well, what the shopkeeper says is, these 4 candles you want, I can't sell them to you until I've obtained your client due diligence. Or until I've conducted risk assessment on you. Then, of course, the man who's come in, when he's been offered 4 candles, says, that's not what I wanted. I wanted. That's a cue for you to tell me what the man actually wanted.
What does he want?
What did he want?
What does he want?
What did he want? I've just gone off screen because look, I've got one.
What is that?
That's a training aid, also disguised as a 4 candle.
Oh God! Great.
Right. So
well, I hope the fan gets that. Yeah.
That's truly enough from me. And if we edit that off at the end, it's probably a good thing. But I'll leave that to you, sir.
Leave it with me. I shall do that. Right.
All right.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Watch out for more. We are completely. We don't schedule. We just pop up.
I don't know how to react to being said that we just pop up, but we'll stop there.
We will.
Bye.